Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast with your hosts Justin and BJ. We talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we seem to care about. You, the MVP listener, you get to listen in, you get to laugh, you get to hate on our takes and opinions, but just don't let us know about those opinions unless it's been 3 days. Well, we're back.
Or 2 weeks.
We're back, and or 2 weeks, yeah. I do have to say this. The Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast brought to you by Thelander Leadership Consulting, where everybody needs a little TLC. All your bookkeeping needs for your small business, your church, or anything else you need bookkeeping needs for, or consultation, or maybe you need staff development or leadership development, strategic planning, anything you need. Give us a call. We'd love to help you because everybody needs a little TLC.
After your first consult, do you give people free rotisserie chickens? I think we should look into that.
We could add it to the services for sure. That would be fine. Yeah. If that comes as a request, I would definitely do it.
Or just a coupon to Costco to get that $6.99 rotisserie.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I don't know where that has to do with TLC, but okay.
Well, tender, loving chicken.
Chicken.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's chicken again. We were chickening in the pre-show, and now we're chickening again.
Right, because I had Chick-fil-A.
Oh, there you go.
Segment sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. God's chicken.
God's chicken. Yeah. So, anyways, you were thinking about what? 2 weeks?
Yeah, so we took a break last week because of scheduling conflicts and other things that were happening in our life, but I did get some responses, not in the email of 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com, but I did get some interesting comments, DMs, if you will, that said, "Are you and Justin okay?" And they were like, the way Justin worded that, it sounded like you guys were not okay. And I said, yeah, Justin doesn't really think about some of the things he posts sometimes. So, no, I said, we're fine. And they were very confused by your
Facebook post?
Your text on why we were not meeting, last week. So.
Oh, well, there's a lot of things going on.
There were, yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And we, sometimes, some of those topics could lead to us having deeper conversations, and maybe we shouldn't have had them on the podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's true.
I literally was just screwing around, and it just kind of came off that way, and then, I could see you.
I knew you were screwing around, and I knew what you were trying to say, and I just don't think it landed well with some of our younger audience members. So,
oh well, my apologies to all of them. I hope they come back.
Oh, they will. Yeah, they will. So
I wonder what tripped them up.
I don't know. I think it was just confusing. So anyway,
I'm a very confusing person.
We've been off for 2 weeks, or a week, 2 weeks. This is a week in between, so I guess that means 2 weeks. So how have you been? What's been going on? You and I haven't been off. That's the other thing that's confusing. People think that if we don't do this podcast, we're not talking. Just for the record, Justin and I still talk every single day. So
every day.
That still is a thing. Even if it's just a text or an IM, we do talk every single day. So
there are some Saturdays we don't talk because I know that sometimes there's a lot of family stuff going on. But usually by Sunday, I'm like,
yeah,
BJ should be good.
If you think about the 27 years we've been talking now, if you averaged out the messages, it would definitely be more than one a day.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, some days at work, even to this day, or even earlier in our stage of when we didn't use chat or something, we were just using email. Our email threads would have been hundreds of pages long.
Oh, you know what would be cool? I know we can't because it was a work email address, but it was
our Nelnet one?
Yeah, you had subject lines for those emails so that you could keep track of which day it was, and they were. You should go back to that for the new titles of the episodes, to some of your titles of your subject lines for.
Dude, I don't even know if I remember any of them.
Oh, they were stupid, but they were.
I know, but
they were funny too.
I wonder if people feel like our titles now are stupid.
I don't know. We wouldn't know because nobody engages us on 3dayoldpodcast.com.
Well, technically, yeah, they don't email us. They slide into our DMs.
Yeah, on our MySpace and
Our top 8.
our LinkedIn's.
Yeah, I mean,
speaking of LinkedIn, if anybody's out there that is looking to add somebody to your employ that needs a good leader, or somebody who's just willing to work hard and make a good living, reach out to us at 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com.
yeah,
We know some people.
yeah, there might be people here that we know
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Yeah.
We're always looking for the next adventure. I think. I don't know. But no, you asked me about what's been going on. I really haven't been, not too much. We just, the week that we canceled, we had literally, I think every night we had something between us going on and not even a free hour moment to record. And so, unfortunately, that's what happens when you have a real life podcast, and you just have to kind of, change it up a little bit.
Yeah,
and
we haven't monetized this thing yet, so we still have to keep our day jobs, and sometimes that's 2 or 3 day jobs.
Well, definitely. And then, and the kids are busier with extra activities and being 2 hours apart, until we're together, maybe we'll do a live one. Actually, that's what got brought up at the Super Bowl party this weekend at my house, between my family, is that when I'm with you next in person in March, we should do a live version.
That could be cool. The problem with that is I think it would be cool. I think every time we've tried to do a group of people, the audio has not been really good.
No, I just say us.
Yeah, but I think it would be cool because Brady will be here too.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to do a live or a in-person show. That'd be good. That'd be good.
I mean,
we could probably figure. You're coming in on Tuesday. That would be the night we normally do it.
Then there probably won't be a lot going on from ourselves because we'll be tired from traveling. So it'll be a good kickback night.
That Tuesday might be a Tuesday we could do it
because it's like the only night we don't have a lot of things going on. Or
yeah, that's going to be a busy week, and then we will take the next week off unless we pre-record something because I will not be available.
That was one, yeah, and I'll be getting back. It might be, since we're gone for so long. Anyways, ourselves. So,
yep.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. But yeah, I think Bree brought that up. No, actually, my sister brought it up that we should do it in person. I don't know. They were talking about it at the Super Bowl party. I was just trying to watch the Chiefs lose. Yeah. Which they were successful, so that worked.
Yeah, I hate to give them credit for anything, so I would rather give credit for the Eagles for winning rather than the Chiefs being successful at losing. But
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. We can give that hot take later.
Yeah.
But no. Otherwise, we just stayed busy with kid stuff, and we had a bunch of events and family outing stuff. Like I said last week, that we just kind of moved things. If we were going to record last week, it was going to be like on a Friday night or Saturday, and it was like, might as well just wait it out. So,
yeah.
But what about you? What did you do with the extra time?
Well, that's just it. It wasn't
no extra time.
There was no extra time, which is why it got squeezed. But
yeah.
Last week was lots of basketball games. So there were some away games, and we were traveling, and some, which was good. It was good to go support our kids and what they do. And so yeah, we got 2 kids right now playing ball on separate teams, going separate directions at different levels, and so makes the calendar a little bit full sometimes. And but we would do everything we can to get to our kids' events for sure. So that's what we did. Then this weekend was, this weekend was another good weekend. Helped one of my kids move again. And I'm really proud of all my kids. But yeah, our oldest Shout
Sweet.
out to Ian and McKenna. My oldest Ian and his wife McKenna got to help them move on Saturday a little bit, and so that was fun. I know he listens, so shout out to him. But
Did they move into a bigger, better place?
yeah,
Or
they did. They got a little townhome, and so yeah, it was
nice.
funny because my daughter Emma said to him on Friday, "Oh, now you're an adult," and Ian said, "Well, I am married, and I've been married for a little while now, and I think I'm already an adult." And she goes, "Yeah, but you got like not an apartment." And I looked at Ian, and I said, "Well, I'm still in an apartment, so what does that make me?"
Yeah, they call that transitioning.
Yeah. So no, we got to spend some time with Ian and McKenna and helped him put together a grill and moved some things for him. And so yeah, they're doing real good. It's always good to see them and spend some time with them. So
That's awesome.
then I had the other kids Saturday most of the day, and just hung out and had some fun. Went and had some food with them, and just really had a good day as a family. So it was fun.
Yeah, and you said that two kids in basketball. Your Elliot is playing.
Yep.
Or he's playing JV and varsity.
Yeah, he's starter and captain on his JV team at McMinnville High School, and then he suits up varsity, and he just got bumped up to full-time varsity practice, and he's been into 3-4 games now as a varsity player. And so tonight we had a game. We're coming. People don't know this because they're going to listen tomorrow, but we're coming to you a little bit later in the evening. But we were at his varsity game tonight, and he got in. He got in early in the game tonight, and
Nice.
So that was cool. And they were playing the best team in the league, so it's always a tough game. And Elliot got in the second quarter, and then realized, we were just talking about this pre-show. We can go into sports, I guess, if we wanted to. But
yeah, we can. We'll just kind
of. In Oregon, you only get 5 quarters a day or a night. And so Elliot, because he's a starter on the JV team, and he plays usually most of, if not all, the game on JV, so he only can get 1 quarter at varsity. And so they put him in the second quarter because they had some substitution issues and needed a guard in there. And so they put him in, and then it became a blowout. And so the rest of the JV team that normally suits up all got in the fourth quarter with about 4 minutes to go, and we were down by 35, 40 points. But Elliot's just sitting on the bench, and I'm like, what is going on? Let him in. Everybody else is in. And talked to Elliot after the game, and he goes, yeah, I ran out of time. I couldn't go back in. So he goes, but my 30 seconds was impactful because we were still in the game. And I said, there you go, that works. But yeah, shout out to Brian Lewis. Brian Lewis, who's a mutual friend of ours, with you and your connection with the Lewis family. But he got in tonight and hit a 3 in the varsity game. Got his first varsity points tonight.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear their success in basketball. We like seeing that as much as we were standouts, right? No. Well, maybe you, not me.
We were outstanding on the sideline.
We were outstanding humans. Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the quarter rule. I didn't know this until recently in Nebraska because I don't really have any kids that play or follow. But in Nebraska, and I'm looking it up now to get it confirmed, but they have 7 quarters of non-varsity, varsity in the same night. That's a big number. Can you imagine if you had that where you lived? I mean, I know it's based off population and stuff like that in smaller schools.
It is. So I don't know if you remember this, but so like Class A in Nebraska is the highest class.
Mm-hmm.
So what is we went to East High, which was 5, or was it A school, right?
Yeah, it's Class A.
So what is do you remember what the enrollment is at East High, or can you look that up real quick and see?
Enrollment to East High?
Yeah, just to see kind of population comparison to what we're dealing with out here. Where we're at in McMinnville, we are a 6A school, so it's just A classes, but we're the top school, top enrollment in the state is 6A. The highest class is 6A. But we are one of the smallest 6A schools, so that's why we struggle in certain sports in certain places. But
So Lincoln East, according to that says fall of 23. Let me look at this one here real quick.
Well, that just give us a round number anyway.
Fall of 24, East High was 1,400.
Okay. So there's a little bit discrepancy. We're probably, I think, without looking it up, I think we're at 2,500, 2,600 of enrollment at McMinnville.
So for enrollment, like for Class A, for like Grand Island's like one of the largest ones, because there's only Grand Island Public and Grand Island the Catholic school, I believe. But the enrollment at Grand Island Public is over 2,000.
Yeah.
So
they just have, that's because it's similar to like what McMinnville is when you've got only one school in the city.
Everybody goes there, yeah.
Yeah. They're talking about building a new school here in McMinnville. We're population about 35,000 people. And so if they did that, it would split the school. We would go down to probably 3A.
Well, in Lincoln, in the last 2 years, though, they also opened up 2 new public schools, so that kind of spread out.
That makes a difference, yeah.
And the 2 public schools, including the one that my daughter goes to, is considered Class B school now. So
okay,
so yeah. You start spreading that out. Actually, there is another high school in Grand Island called Northwest.
Oh, that's right.
Anyways, but it's small too, so
yeah. Well, and you were leading me to the other, just to give some fair credit. Yeah, Cooper is the other one that is playing ball.
Yeah.
And he is Heidi's son, so we're out there supporting him. He's his first year playing basketball, and he is in 6th grade, and so he's playing for his school, Western Christian Middle School, and his first season, and they're doing pretty good. It's fun to watch them play.
Awesome. Yeah.
One of the things Heidi said recently as we've been to these games is it's just like, it's interesting to see the body maturation from a 6th grader to an 8th grader.
Yeah.
And then I've watched that, as my boys have played, but then Elliot playing freshman year, and then last year sophomore, this year junior, and then watching him play JV versus playing varsity it's just a whole nother level. It's just a different game.
Well, yeah, that's Brenton, and Brenton played basketball last year. Brenton's the same age as Cooper, so Brenton's not playing basketball this year, but last year he was, from a height wise, Brenton was always like the tallest kid, and so, but yeah, you see that now, like you're talking about that jump, and I'm imagining what this is going to be like with Brenton moving forward, because right now he's even going into school now. He's still got friends they're probably just going to tower over him at some point as well. But that kid's supposed to be taller than me, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes for kids, right? And when they jump up to the levels, and how that transfers into them as a player for basketball or any sport, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah, and just again, I mean, I don't want to bore everybody with this, but one of those parenting things as we've moved our kids around, we came from Illinois where we were at the second smallest class in Illinois at the school we were at. We were at 2A school in Pittsfield, sometimes 3A, and Elliot out there, was coming off the bench, and even though he was still a quality ball player, and he told me this year before as the season started, he started injured, so he went to tryouts and he made the team. They didn't cut him because of injury, but I think that's also why he's stayed on JV as long as he had, just to kind of get back and get healthy. But he's like, Dad, can you believe that, I wasn't even a starter in Illinois, but now I'm at a 6A school and I'm would have made the varsity if I was healthy. And I'm like, yeah, but I told him when we moved out here, I said, you guys got to go in and prove yourselves. This is a bigger school. There's going to be cuts, all those things. And Elliot's kept his head down and he's worked hard and he's earned his place for sure.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love hearing that. It's nice to hear those things and watch those things, especially with you having kids earlier than I did, and your kids have grown up faster, and I'm the old guy, so it's nice. I wish I lived closer to support your kids to watch them go through these things, but
yeah, we were talking to my parents tonight. And my brother was texting me. I couldn't make the JV game tonight. He's texting me because he was watching it on the app that they can watch some highlights on, and he's like, "Yeah, Elliot's playing really good tonight." And
yeah,
I'm like, that's cool that people can watch it from all over the place. So,
well, technology.
Yep.
But yeah, so well, yeah, that's awesome. The kids, people were always, well, you said this kind of pre-show, but people have asked about how our kids are enjoying, the ones that are not around. I know I've told, like, Brenton's shooting archery this year, and he's scheduled to go to the state tournament that they're having. And I think he has to average like 250 to go to nationals, but right now for his first year, he's shooting about an average of 230, 235, somewhere in there, for somebody who has never shot arrow before. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a natural. Last week it hurt he didn't hurt my feelings, but he finally got locked in. He used to come over and talk to me in between his shoots, and last week he quit talking to me, and he's like, "Dad, every time I came over and talked to you," and I didn't say much. I just asked him how he felt, and he's like, then I would go out there and shoot really bad. So I just decided to just sit there and look at the target, not talk to anybody, and focus in. I was like, that's fair. Just do that. As much as I want to talk to you about how you shot, I get it. Yeah, I think every time he came back to talk to us, he would lose a little bit of focus. And so it's kind of funny watching a 12-year-old be like, no, I need to focus. I need to like dial in. And he didn't move. He would come back, set his bow down, and then he would just stare straight forward at the the target every time until they blew the whistle to go pull your arrows. It was kind of crazy, but so I guess he's not going to allow me and Grandpa give him a hard time during archery matches anymore, I guess. So
that's when you get a big sign and you just put a message on the sign and you make sure that he sees it and just everybody else sees it and all the stuff.
Yeah, it's I love the fact that he gets locked in. Like he's learned how to just tune the focus, because we had conversations. Archery is done in lanes, and you have these lane partners, and some of them, they breathe really loud, or they just have mannerisms that can just kind of throw you off, right? And so, as a 12-year-old, they're like, kind of maybe anything might bother you because you're trying to focus. It's just kind of funny, and it's awesome to see that he's just like, the other things that I can control, like talking to my parents or talking to people around me that are spectators, I can take them right out and just focus. So it was really cool, and he shot really well after that. Like, yeah, it's just crazy to think that he's never shot arrow, and he's been to 5 meets, and he's averaging what he does. So, but yeah,
that's awesome. That's good for him.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, maybe I can. So I'm hoping one day he'll take me to the archery range, and maybe he can try to beat me.
There you go.
We'll see.
Something else to do.
Well, speaking of targeting,
yeah,
this is a good transition. Did you hear about this guy's house that keeps on getting hit, like constantly, from people coming off of a freeway? Did you read that article I sent you?
I read a little bit of it. I've seen it before, but I was alarmed by how the number keeps increasing. So we're not talking like somebody hitting them like with toilet paper, eggs, or Go ahead and explain this.
Great force. Like, people are flying off of the freeway exit and, like, just straight ramping into this guy's house. Like, second floor, porches. I mean, they put up fences. I don't even know what else they put up. They put up I think there was like a random pole they tried to put up to try to stop it. But these cars are just launching into this guy's yard, and he's hit 23 times. A car has gone into his house.
And did it say? I don't remember. Did it say how long he's lived there?
I don't remember reading that. But 23 times, even if it was over just once a year, is enough.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot, but I wonder if you have to disclose that if he goes to sell it. Hey, this house has been remodeled 23 times due to car accidents.
Yeah, I just don't know how, like, you don't. And the article said they put in like these ramps to kind of slow cars. Maybe they should put one of those big old. Maybe we should put a mountain. Like the runaway semi trucks down a mountain. They put that runaway lane.
Right.
They should probably have that and just go over a house instead of into a house.
That's interesting because you said they tried to build put a little pole in front of the house or whatever.
Just try to do something to stop these vehicles.
You think about the semi off ramps, if you will, the in the mountains and stuff. But what else can you think about that something that's repetitive has caused a change in structure? What other things can you think of?
Like structures outside of buildings, or the way we build things, or things that.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually come up in conversation recently because our church building, we were joking about having some kind of barrier to keep things from people pulling into our front part of our church, because you're gonna need like some type of barrier. You remember when Target put those big old red balls outside of their building?
Yeah,
that probably had to do with people hitting the building or trying. But some of that came, if I remember correctly, I think some of that came because of the things that happened at the Oklahoma City bombing, about having barriers and stuff in front of the buildings, right? Isn't that kind of when that kind of played in?
Yeah, that when they Timothy McVeigh was at the bomber, and he rented I believe it was a Ryder truck, yellow. They were yellow. They've changed their color now, but they were the yellow Ryder trucks, and he parked it in front of the building, and he was able to get right up close to the building. But since then, that's why you see the cement poles and the balls in front of Target, so that it puts the cars or the vehicles away from the building. Yeah, to disengage the threat level, I guess. But yeah, those are some of the key ones. I think there's barricades, concrete barricade half walls that I've seen at other places like downtown Portland and stuff. But yeah,
one of the most like building one other thing that I think about, only because they developed it here at the university. It's not really building related, but it's structurally related to. It's a safety thing. But in NASCAR, their walls that they have, those walls are like, they have this absorption material in it, but that came as part of research that they did at the University of Nebraska. Some of those walls that they use in that technology and for safety reasons, and that came from Dale Earnhardt.
That happened while we lived in Lincoln. I remember we still had Sunday night church at the time, and I remember coming over for church after the Daytona 500, and when Dale Earnhardt got in that wreck and died, and I was talking to somebody on the worship team, actually Reg Malcolm I was talking to him because he was a race car fan, and couldn't believe that he had died. It's crazy, but yeah, that's they changed the wall structure, they changed the helmet, they changed a little bit in the car from that. So, I mean, safety, we talked about that in the NFL with the helmets, and there's so much stuff that's being prevented. I saw a highlight, speaking of safety and how far we've come. Have you ever seen some of those old highlight reels of some of the hits back? Even like, we're not as old as like our dads were when they talk about some of the hits back in their day, but I remember guys, like I'm a Bronco fan, so like
Atwater?
Steve Atwater and Dennis Smith, but then you think about like Ronnie Lott and
dude, Ronnie Lott got his finger stuck in a mask and just tore his pinky off and kept playing.
Yeah, but seeing some of those hits, like I saw a reel the other day that had some of these hits, and this guy's getting literally folded up. And nowadays it's like, if you get depleted, it's an amazing hit. But
you know what, Bree literally just told me this last week. She goes, Dad, you know what I've been really finding interesting is finding those sports where people get hurt all the time. And she was like, this is at the night, because we went to a hockey game last Friday night as a family, and she's like, there needs to be more fights. And she's like, you know what I really like to do is watch videos of people fighting or getting hurt, and mainly just people getting hurt. And I was like, you need to watch NFL highlights. And she's like, no, because none of the hits are really good right now. I said, you need to go back and watch real highlights. So that night, or the next night, we went. We didn't watch NFL first, but I said, you need to watch Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura fight, and we watched old MLB fights. Oh my gosh! So talk about NFL, but man, I showed her the Nolan Ryan and him beating up Robin Ventura. That was entertaining. But yeah, then it led into all the NFL stuff. So like you're talking about, like the big hits. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know how people. Well, I mean, most of those guys, some of those guys, unfortunately, just probably can't remember half of that stuff and can't walk straight anymore. But their bodies, they didn't know any different. So
what's that? There's that disease that Junior Seau died of, and that brain
CTE,
that brain disease.
Yeah.
And I saw this reel from Jameis Winston down at the Super Bowl and some of his clips and his antics, and they said, this is the type of CTE we like and we enjoy, is him being crazy and silly. But
those I can't imagine if NFL was allowed to do that nowadays with as much social media as they're available and people being behind a keyboard about things. So geez.
Yeah, there'd be too much uproar.
Yeah. What did you think of the Super Bowl? I know you're not really a lover of each team or anything, but overall, what did you take away from the football?
You know, let me just lead into this with my continued response. And I found out Sunday I'm not alone, because we went to church, and one of the guys on the praise team, he was wearing a TJ Watt t-shirt jersey from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And he's a big Steelers fan.
Okay.
And the pastor was like, well, the Steelers aren't playing. And he's like, I'm supporting Pennsylvania. And I'm like, okay, good for you. You're still repping your team, but you're pulling for your state, good deal. And it's kind of like what you and I have had this conversation about. But you and I are a little bit different in this, where you'll sometimes root for the same conference as your team. So you'll sometimes root for the Big Ten to do well, because that's where the Nebraska's at. And I'm like, I get that to some degree, but if they're your rival, I'm not rooting for them to do well just because they're in the same. So just because the Chiefs are in the same, I tell people this: I root for two teams in the NFL. I root for the Denver Broncos. And I root for anybody playing the Kansas City Chiefs. So I was very pleased. I'm not as passionate as I am watching the Broncos when I'm watching the other team that's playing the Chiefs. But when Mahomes was getting sacked, I did let out a few, break his leg, knock him out. But I didn't get all up too excited about those things. But I was very, very, very happy to see that game get out of hand quickly.
I thought it was unreal that the Eagles blitzed 0 times, and they got there with 4 guys.
And you know who their defensive coordinator is?
No.
Former Denver Broncos head coach.
Yeah, I know.
So,
do you think because they talked him up at the end of the Super Bowl a little bit. They kept on showing him on the clips because he's been in the league for so long. He's like 6. Is he 60? 70?
70. I think they said 70. No, he can't be 75.
No, I thought he's upper 60s, but
maybe that's what it was. 68 years old or something like that. But he's been a lifer in the NFL. His only job has been in the NFL.
And he's one of those guys that I think the only way he comes off being a coach, right? Like, he's got his Super Bowl, right? And he doesn't leave. He's probably just going to stick around.
Well, and I mean, if that's all you've done, I think about that when it comes to some of these older coaches. Like Pete Carroll just got another job, right?
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll is way older than he looks, because he's been in California most of his life. But he's probably 950 years old, but he looks like he's 60, and he's getting another go out of it because that's what he does. That's all they do. And so good for them, good for them.
900, huh? Abraham's age? Close?
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to exaggerate things sometimes.
It's close. I mean, 73. It's close.
Yeah. Pete Carroll's 73?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I did the internet thing.
But I mean, I've been having those personal. Here I go. I knew this was going to be a bad night for a podcast. But I've been having some of those personal reflection moments of, is this all I knew how to do? Now that I'm not doing it, why can't I do anything else? Kind of moments. So I commend them. I mean, if that's what they can do and they can do it well. No, I think you need to know your lane. I think Fangio, Wade Phillips is the same boat. I mean, if you're a great defensive coach or offensive coach, I mean, Josh McDaniels on the offensive side of things, Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's kind of done it as a head coach, but if you're really good at one thing and you can do it well and at the highest level, do it.
Yeah.
I mean, good for you. I mean, there's no reason to, especially those guys in the NFL. I mean, Fangio should have never been a head coach, but somebody gave him a shot. Denver Broncos gave him a shot, and it was awful. And now he's a defensive coordinator again, and he's a great defense. Wade Phillips is the same way. Wade Phillips, every time he got a head coaching job, he was 500 head coach, if that. But as soon as he goes back to coaching just one aspect of the game and not managing the whole organization and the whole team, not everybody's meant to be in the number one chair. So,
yeah, it was my brother-in-law was over, and he's a Chiefs fan, and Brent and they kind of both gave up. They were just like, "Yep, this is over. Let's go do something else." Like, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, because the Broncos never had a blowout game like that for a loss. Well, they did. Niners, 55 to something, wasn't it?
55-10, and
yes,
so this game broke some of those records. So at one point, the Chiefs were down by 36 points. I think it was.
Yep.
And it said they just broke the record that was held by the 49ers Broncos because the Broncos were down by 35 points in that game.
That's
at
right.
one point. Yeah,
I do. Yeah, as soon as they said that, I was like, I do remember a game back then.
So my son sent me a little meme after the game because my son's a Bronco fan as well, and it was Patrick Mahomes is 0-1 when he was playing the Tom Brady, with the Buccaneers, I believe.
Yep.
And then he's now 0-1 with Tom Brady calling the Super Bowl. But when Tom Brady's not involved, he's 3-0.
Yep.
So I thought, well, Tom Brady takes out Patrick Mahomes again. So
one of the funniest things I saw after the Super Bowl is someone was making a joke about is it the Chiefs kicker Harrison
Butker
was like, he would have just been better off just going home and watching the game with his family and eating some wings because he didn't get an opportunity to kick an extra point. He didn't get an opportunity to do anything because they went for 2 every time. So
Yep.
it was just like a funny, like there was more to it. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, that would be the worst being a kicker and not even get an extra point when your team scores because they're going for 2 because they're so far down. But
well, then the Eagles kicker having the
you had to kick
game
3 extra times because of penalty,
and those are stupid penalties too. But
I know.
And then to hit every single one of them, just he was solid. I was joking with my son. We were texting back and forth and talking about the early game MVPs, and I'm like, the Chiefs punter should be the MVP in the first half. So
yeah, good old Super Bowls. Do you like Super Bowls being on Sunday?
Yeah, because that's when they normally play. I think it should be. Yeah, I think
Do you think it should be a national holiday on Monday?
No.
Did you know there's a potential if they add that
18th
game that it's going to line up where the Monday after will be President's Day? Well, and so you'll have Monday off if you get President's Day off. So it'll be a national holiday.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean that it would. If you think about where the schedule is now, one more week, put President's Day is next week. So
I still like the idea. I heard this talked about, and it got brought up in the Super Bowl too, because in the third quarter when the Chiefs finally scored, they could not kick an onside kick because it was still the third quarter. And I've heard rumblings that the onside kick rule may change in football. And we were talking way too much sports tonight, but
it's Super Bowl.
I mean, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
But somebody mentioned you should have a 4th and 25 to get an onside kick. That should be the rule to get an onside kick. You should have one play, 4th and 25, and if you convert it, then you get the ball back at the 25, going like your own 25, driving again. But
yeah, I don't mind the extra play as an onside. Like it involves everybody. It's it's everybody against everybody's best. And yeah, I mean, once again, you're getting rid of what a kicker is supposed to be on the team for, but we're okay with that. Right? So, all right. So yeah, sports. I wished we talked about Mondays. That's one thing like college football. I wish the college football and NFL could end up at the same time and you could have the national championship game on Saturday and then the Super Bowl on Sunday. Like that would be awesome. As a sports nut, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I don't think we're never going to get there because pretty soon the NFL is going to play all the way to Easter. I think at this point, but so yeah, I don't know.
Well, that would be interesting for sure.
Well, we can't do that because that's basketball. They would have to stop before March Madness. We're almost there, but I don't know. But too much sports. Someone's gonna say we talk too much sports. I don't have another. I'm trying to think of something else to talk about that's not sports related. This weekend.
Do you speaking of sports?
Speaking of sports, that we're trying to go out of sports, but
I was talking to a lady at work today, and she's a big Oregon State Beavers girls basketball fan, and so we were talking a little bit college basketball and what goes on there. So the Huskers went through a losing streak, and now they're back to winning again. It looks like they're going to get into the tournament again. What's your take on Husker basketball right now?
Don't talk about it because you're going to ruin it. It's like a jinx. No, I think they're playing. Yeah, I don't know what it is about February. Nebraska basketball always comes around in February to kind of get your hopes going, and they do really well, which is nice because going into the tournament, it makes it it makes it fun, and they can make some noise and getting into the Big 12 or Big 10 tournament, which helps your chances. But I said this last year, and you were here in Lincoln. There was so much hype and hope that we could win our first tournament game, and then, well, we forgot to play. We forgot the defense.
That was one of the. I've been in Nebraska for some of the biggest losing moments when they weren't supposed to lose.
I know.
When we lived there is when the losing started in football.
That's why you should move back.
And then to be there last year for March Madness on that day in a sports bar in Lincoln, Nebraska, when it's decked out, and I was it felt so good to be able to wear my Husker gear and not be looked at funny. Like I got a new Husker hoodie this Saturday, and I wore it and wore my Husker hat, and my son goes, "Are they playing today or something?" I said, "No, I'm just a fan."
On what day?
Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, being there, that was kind of just that bar was quiet at the first half. Yeah.
Dude, it was stupid. Like, I think people were just like shell shocked on what happened, especially for a bar that was probably over capacity anyways.
Well, we had 15 guys at our table, and then by the halftime, 8 of them had left.
There's I'm gonna go home and go to bed because Nebraska was second to the last game that night.
Yeah,
and there's I've been at the bar since 10:30 this morning. We're done.
Yeah. Done. But that was a cool experience. It's crazy to think that it was a year ago.
Isn't that crazy? Doesn't it seem like it was longer ago?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to do it again.
Well, that was another thing. As we wrap this episode up or get towards the end, you're getting ready to leave on a trip.
Yeah, I'm going to Phoenix.
You're going to go watch some Husker baseball, and I was looking at their schedule, and the Huskers play the Beavers this year in Lincoln, though, so I don't get to go watch them play the Beavs. But maybe you'll get to see the Beavs in your backyard.
Yeah, it's funny. I went to Nebraska baseball last year for preseason, and then I didn't go to any games at home. I don't know.
Well, it's a 3-game series in Lincoln. You should check that out this year.
We should. Are they is Oregon State going to be as good as they were previously?
Yes. They did lose. The number 1 pick in the draft was an Oregon State middle infielder. But they are retooled, and they will be good again, and it's fun to watch. Beaver baseball.
Retooling, I'll retool you.
That's Beaver one of those places when we went to if you're going to go to Corvallis on your trip when you come out here next month, you should go by the baseball stadium. It's nothing fancy, but just the atmosphere, even if it's not a baseball game, it's similar to Husker football in Oregon State because that's their, national championship team. Yeah. That's their. So when you're at a Beavers baseball game in Corvallis, it's pretty sweet. It's a fun atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, our plan is to go down to Eugene and go to Corvallis and take in. It's not. We don't get the opportunity to come out. Well, we've never been out there, but we're going to try to fit in as much as we can for as long as we'll be there. So
yeah.
I figure we'll have an opportunity. It's only a couple hours round trip.
It's 45 minutes one way to Corvallis. It's about an hour and a half to Eugene.
So 45 minutes to each spot.
Yep,
that's not bad.
So,
and then how far inland is that to go to the coast then, from those places? Is it further from where you're at?
Not necessarily. It'd still be about the same.
Gotcha.
So you're still probably an hour from the coast at Eugene.
Can I do a big loop?
You could. You'd probably need to stay the night. But you could jump over from Eugene. You could jump over to to the 101 and take it back north up the coastline.
Yeah, it's not like I'll be jumping in the ocean or anything.
No, the Oregon beach, especially that time of year, I mean, it can be hit or miss, but the Oregon beach is a place you visit, not a place you get in.
Yeah. No, I knew that with it being so northern.
Yep.
No, I'm looking forward to go and maybe hopefully we can see. I've heard some waterfall areas are nice to see while you're there, and
Yeah, good hiking trails.
well, I won't be doing very much hiking.
Yeah.
I'm scared of rocks. Just random rocks scare me.
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't. And that's a lie. I'm not afraid of rocks. Well, I mean boulders. I'm scared of those falling on my head.
Yeah, you won't have that out here. But
all right.
Well, what do you got for the next 3 days? You're going to Arizona. Tell us about your trip. Who are you going to watch play?
We're going to watch Husker baseball play in the MLB
Invite Classic.
I was going to say Classic. I didn't know if it was called Invite Classic. But Nebraska's playing their season opener stuff down at spring training sites in Arizona area. So I think one of them is the home. I think is where the Cubs play spring training. I believe in Mesa, which is not too far from where we're staying. So that's nice. And the other places, the other two games are, I think they're up at Talking Stick Resort area, which is up by Scottsdale area where like Top Golf and stuff. So I think we're going to hit up Top Golf over there. We're going to go check out Pop Strokes, hopefully. The Tiger Woods inspired like miniature golf thing that they have. There's one in Scottsdale. Yeah, and we'll, I don't know, find some places to eat that are not chain restaurants, hopefully. Find some local places. So hit me up. Hit up the podcast email and let me know where to eat. But we have friends of mine. All of them still work for State Farm, and a bunch of people that we've known over the years have moved to the Phoenix area and so we have connections and coworkers that live down there. So we're just gonna kind of hang out and enjoy a guys' weekend. Cool. We did this last year going to Dallas, so we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting away from the snow because it's not starting to snow here. Too bad I have to go somewhere where it's 60, 70 degrees. So, but no, we're going to spend a long extended weekend up in Phoenix, so it'll be nice. It'll be a nice getaway. My family won't be happy with me because I get to get away, but selfishly, it'll be nice to kind of just kind of reset and come back with a vengeance. Because after that, it's at some point our church is moving. That's getting closer, which we'll have to talk about that some more. We'll have to bring on our pastors. We talked about that before, and then we come out to Oregon, so that's another week-long vacation. So, or a week or so, but. Yeah, so I'm just ready. I'm ready to be off of work and get going. What about you? What you got going on?
Not much this weekend. Just kind of, I picked up an extra gig that I'm doing during the week, so have a chance to relax this weekend. And
you're the bassist for a new band, aren't you?
No,
big gig. No, I know.
It might pay better. But,
well, you're getting some valuable lessons for your venture.
Yeah. And so it's going to be good. So doing that this week, and then we got just a pretty chill weekend. So
well, I guess I'll just have to text you pictures of everything that I'm doing.
There you go. Yeah.
Like every what do you want, like 10 minutes maybe?
I may not respond.
I'm okay with that. Man, sometimes I'll just put my phone away. Like,
You know, there's sometimes what you're bad about though is when I tell you I have plans, that's when you blow me up. And you that's always been the case. You have always done that. Here's a story for people. I had to start taking my I wear an Apple Watch. I had to start taking my watch off and leaving my phone in my office when I would preach because somebody found out I was preaching from an iPad and they would text me while I'm preaching and try to distract me. And so I had to turn off all of that when I preached so that I wouldn't get those notifications.
Who did this?
And then just the other day, I was not happy with you, Justin. I'm gonna
hang on a second. Hang on. Let's talk about this. Let's have a therapy moment.
Okay, here we're gonna get real. This podcast is about our friendship. I'm gonna get real with you for a minute.
This is the first time I know. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news sounder here.
So for those of you listening still after 55 minutes of this chaos,
it's a train wreck.
I had told Justin, because Justin hears everything from me, usually one way or the other, if it's been 3 days or not. But Justin made sure that I had a good plan to propose to Heidi. And I told him about my plan, and he helped me. He helped me first to inform me that the restaurant I was going to go to was closed on Mondays, and so we had to change. I had to pivot, which was fine. But then he knows I'm busy that night, and he and Heidi and I are in a group message thing for stupid reels that Justin sends us. And
are you talking about Instagram reel messages or just text message?
Instagram.
Oh, see, I don't really count those as real messages because I don't have my notifications on for those. I just assume nobody else does either.
Heidi doesn't.
Okay.
Heidi doesn't. So she doesn't have hers on either. But and I don't have them on my phone, but I have them on my watch for some reason. I never turned them off on my watch. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, I think I had just proposed. I think we were getting in the car to go to dinner, and I'm just like, he knows I'm busy tonight. Why is he blowing us up? He knows what I'm doing tonight. I was not happy with you. And
I can get behind that. I can understand you not being happy with me. We can clarify this so I can look kind of good. Is I wasn't texting you guys. Was sending reels to an inbox. I didn't think people got notifications for.
Yes, and I'm sure that 98% of our listeners would agree with you that
my gosh,
I'm probably the only one that has any kind of notification for that on. But still, the night that you know what I'm doing and I'm busy and I'm focused, and yet you're blowing us both up, I was just like, Justin, give it a rest. And then on nights that you know I'm not doing anything, I don't hear a peep from you.
Yep. Well, so I'm gonna blame Instagram for providing good and bad ones during those times.
Most of the stuff you send to us both is bad.
I don't disagree with you on this, but for some reason they make me laugh, so I think everybody else should laugh with me.
Yeah.
And then they're not good. I get it. Well, so I hope you accept my apology. I honestly was just like, yep, everybody else is getting them that day, so like literally there's 3 people.
Well, I think that's the first time you've ever apologized to me, so I will accept it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I guess I didn't realize you had Instagram notifications on.
Yeah.
But whoops, and poor Heidi's phone probably does blow up. Like it was probably like on fire.
No, she has hers off. So
hers off. It was just yours.
It was just mine, and I'm just like,
why does your Apple Watch do that?
Because you can mirror the notifications, but I don't know why it does. I never turned it off for Instagram on my watch for some reason. It wasn't intentional, but I haven't changed it. So,
and you know what? It was intentional that I knew not to text you.
Yeah,
but I knew I needed to send you something at some point. I was like, "This is the safest route to go."
Okay. Well, like I said, 98% of our listeners will agree with you, but
I just assumed the restaurant was closed, so you weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Just joking.
We found a different restaurant to go to. So.
And by the way, I would have never heard their get in the middle of that stuff, but I did.
No.
The only reason I found out about the restaurant is because I was like, I need to look for. He said this is a good place to eat, and I looked up to go look at the website to read about it, and I was like, BJ, the day you're doing
totally
it,
true. That's not totally
kind of true.
It is because you wanted to know good places to eat, but you also wanted to make sure that I had a good plan for this event, and so you.
Well, I was
exact words to me were, you got to sell me on this first, so I can make sure it's okay. And
well, yeah, as your good
I didn't
friend,
even tell you what I ended up doing because I did get off earlier than I thought, and so we.
Well, I was gonna send a $500 bottle of wine, but I couldn't figure out where you were.
Yeah, well,
whatever. Sorry.
We did go.
Happy anniversary.
We did go have Italian food, not at Olive Garden, the Italian Applebee's, but
Italian Applebee's.
We did get to eavesdrop on some interesting conversation that night from the table next to us. So,
do you think they had their Instagram notifications on?
I don't think that guy had any clue what Instagram was.
Oh, jeez. So he was 96 years old.
I don't know. They were having some family issues, so. Yeah.
And we all do on that note.
Yeah.
Well, I do apologize. That day I just wanted you to laugh with me at some point in your life when you went to bed or something. But
well, at least it didn't prevent her from saying yes, and so that's a good thing. So.
Well, I'm pretty sure if she would have told you to get rid of me as a friend, you would still side with her, so I'd be okay with that.
We all have to choose. We've said this for a long time in our friendship and in our friendship with our other people that are in our friend group. When you choose a spouse, it does affect friendship. But when you choose a spouse, the Bible doesn't say this is why a man leaves his mother and father and clings to his wife. It should also say this is why a man should leave his friends and cling to his wife.
Well,
it doesn't say that, so
yeah. There's a special place for those friends sometimes. Yeah. It's also nice that when your friends are also friends with your spouse too, and that relationship's always. That's what I've enjoyed these years of being friends.
Yeah, it's good when
all across the board.
Yes, you mentioned this the other time when we had all our friends on, or a lot of our friends on that one night, that it makes a difference not only when you can have friends at the first hand level, but then when you can become friends with your friends' friends and your spouses or your friends' spouse and all those things, and you get to know people at a second or third level is pretty special too. So.
Well,
those are good places.
Yeah, that's why we're going to initiate Heidi.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so just more to come. When I see her, she'll be initiated. We'll be good.
All right. I'll keep that a surprise because she's
probably like Double Dare, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Slime.
Yeah, just don't tell her.
Okay, I won't tell her.
When she wakes up sometime after
when she listens
to this podcast later on.
To this episode later.
Yeah. Heidi, during this episode, you are sleeping right now. So, all right. Well, we should end this craziness.
Yeah, we should. You're right.
All right, man.
So, well, it's been good to catch up. Thanks for your patience, MVP listener. It's good to be back for another week, and we'll keep trying to find content.
We have interviews that need to be set up.
Yeah.
I'm lazy. No. Yeah, I'm lazy. I'll be lazy right now.
Well, thank you to Michael and Emma for reaching out on 3-Day-Old Podcast. 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com in the email box. And if you have a story, here's what I want to plug one more time. This email box, 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com, is brought to you by Thelander Leadership Consulting, where everybody needs a little TLC. You that have been listening for a long time, why don't you drop into our email box and tell us a story or remind us of a story. Give us the headline, give us the highlight of a story that you remember with us, and we would love to share it on the air with everybody. And possibly, maybe we'll just bring you on as a guest interview and talk about the story in real time. So,
And I would also say if you can't use the email because, that's hard, you can use the comments on Facebook. We try to put it on our own personal Facebook. The podcast has its own Instagram page.
Yep, that's
which
true.
It doesn't send reels during people's whatever. We won't get into that.
Drop in our DMs, drop in the email box.
Yeah, you can do anything, but the email box, it'll be seen faster.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but yes.
Yeah, if you have a story about Justin or I and your involvement in that story, or a story you'd like for us to retell and re-walk through that you have heard about, let us know. 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. Drop into our DMs, Instagram, Facebook. It hasn't been 3 days, and we would love to hear it and talk about it. So, Justin, have a great trip. Be safe. Enjoy Husker baseball. Go Big Red. And enjoy the sunshine. And we will talk to you next time. So here's to a lack of communication of irrelevant age news. We'll see you next time.
See ya.